Harper Paperbacks and HarperAudio present The Girls Who Disappeared, a novel by Clare Douglas, performed by Joanne Froggatt and Clare Corbett.
The Accident. November 1998. They were singing. They were drunk. They were happy. That was what Olivia recalled most afterwards. How happy her friends had been. Sally was in the front. She always was. She said the back seat made her nauseous. And as Olivia's best friend, it was the natural place for her to be. Sally was chattering away about Mal, a boy she fancied, who'd finally asked her out. Not that this surprised Olivia. Men always gravitated towards Sally, with her huge dark eyes and bubbly nature, including Olivia's own boyfriend Wesley. It was still a bone of contention between them, a subject that was now off limits to preserve their friendship. Sally's voice was high, excitable, and a little slurred as she recalled the moment Mal had bought her a diamond white. Olivia was finding it hard to hear her over the radio, and the rain that was getting louder and heavier by the minute. Tamsin and Katie were in the back, mascara smudged below their eyes, their glittery crop tops poking through their not warm enough coats, smelling of booze and perfume. Their arms were wrapped around each other's necks, acting as though they were still at Ritzy's as they crooned along to Two Become One by the Spice Girls. Olivia's heart sank. They'd promised they wouldn't drink too much tonight. It had been Tamsin who'd goaded the others. Olivia had noticed her at the bar, ordering double shots and flicking her long peroxide blonde hair over her slim shoulders, obviously hoping one of her many admirers would pay. And they usually did. Hers was a different type of beauty from Sally's, brasher and more in your face, with her colourful wonder bras and skirts that barely covered her arse. It hadn't been raining as Olivia had headed out to pick up her friends earlier that evening, and it had only started to drizzle as they left the nightclub 10 minutes ago. But now the downpour was so heavy that Olivia was finding it increasingly difficult to see the road ahead. Rain gathered in rivulets either side of her windscreen, nearly obscuring her vision, despite her wipers being on max. The road stretched out in front of them, dark and all-encompassing, as though they were travelling through space. Even on main beam, it wasn't enough to cut through the mist that was beginning to hover above the ground like dry ice. As it was Olivia's turn to drive, she'd only sipped one glass of wine all evening. But now she felt it burn the back of her throat, hot and acidic, as her little Peugeot 205 was buffeted by the strong winds. She wasn't a nervous driver usually, but she'd only passed her test a few months ago. And tonight felt different. She hated this road at the best of times. The Devil's Corridor cut straight through the forest, and the tall beech and fir trees that reared up on either side made the road feel oppressive. Further on were the famous standing stones, and then their little town wrapped around it, a tourist trap full of mystical shops and tea rooms. The drumming of the rain drowned the music, splashing onto the tarmac like darts shot from the sky. Olivia clutched the steering wheel tightly, knuckles white. The rain was now so loud that the others stopped singing abruptly, and Sally dialed up the radio. "Turn it down," snapped Olivia, and Sally did as she asked without complaint. It was too dark to see her expression, but Olivia knew she'd offended her friend. She experienced a twinge of regret. She hated upsetting Sally. "What a night!" exclaimed Katie, leaning forwards, gripping Olivia's headrest. "Look at that rain! Can you sit back?" Olivia's voice was unusually curt. Katie was the eldest and the leader of the group and didn't like to be told what to do. Olivia couldn't see her face, but she imagined her rolling her eyes at Tamsin. Nevertheless, she heard her flop back against the headrest. They weren't wearing their seatbelts. "I hope I hear from Mal tomorrow," Sally piped up, in an attempt to break the tension, but she sounded more subdued now. "He said he would phone and—" "Shit! Watch out!" Someone was standing in the middle of the road. It all happened so suddenly. Olivia slammed on her brakes and swerved. The car skidded and spun around, the wheels clipping the bank, causing it to flip over, metal scraping against tarmac as it landed on its roof. Eventually,
Sample complete. Ready to continue?